Hello and welcome to today's Wholehearted Living podcast episode with your host Debs Thorpe. And today we are tapping into a huge topic, and it's one that I get asked about probably more so than most other things, and that is how to tap into your intuition. So let's do this. Okay, so our intuition is this amazing connection with our own inner wisdom and just the wisdom that is in existence in the whole universe. I think what we have access to is so far beyond what our conscious mind can cope with, that it can almost feel a little bit scary at the thought of tapping into this greater wisdom and your intuition. So I want to really ground all of this in really simple, easy, straightforward steps that make this like a really fun, enjoyable, extra bonus that you get to enjoy throughout life. So what we mean when we talk about our intuition is, for me, it really just is about that connection to yourself, to your inner wisdom, and to the greater wisdom, the greater consciousness. And I've spoken about this before in a previous podcast episode. I'll put the link in this description, about how our conscious brain can only process 7 bits of information at a time, but our unconscious brain can process billions of bits of information at any one time. So we have access to so much more information that is just under the surface. So you have probably seen the image of the iceberg when we talk about the conscious and unconscious or subconscious part of the brain. And the conscious part is the tiny bit of the iceberg that is above the surface. That's the bit that we can see and access really easily. However, the majority of it is underneath the surface, and that's exactly how it works with our subconscious, is that we have access to just so much more information. And so I genuinely believe that our intuition is a way of that communicating with us, because our subconscious is non-verbal. Okay, it can't literally speak to you. Okay, so it has to find all of these other ways that it can communicate with you. So let's dive into some of the top ways that we can tap into our intuition. And like I said, this gets to be really fun and enjoyable. It's a really great practice to dive into. We will have all had experiences where we know what it's like to receive intuitive thoughts or images, or what that gut instinct feels like about things. It's just that generally we've not actively cultivated that. So that's what we're talking about doing today. What I want to just say at the start of all of this is that there's no one size fits all. Okay, everybody is different. What allows you to tap into your own intuition and your inner wisdom may be different to somebody else. So I'm going to go through lots and lots of different ways that we tap into our intuition today. Try them out. If, after a few weeks they're not working for you, switch it out, do something else. Let's be playful with this. Let's bring that really nice, curious, playful energy to it. So first thing in how to tap into your intuition is cultivating some mindfulness practice. Now, I first became familiar with intuition when it was referred to as something called the still small voice inside. And so, a big part of allowing space and just a little bit of quiet for this voice to make itself known is by practicing mindfulness, by literally just bringing your attention away from all of the outside noise and allowing yourself just to center on, your own breathing, maybe just focusing on the light of a single candle, maybe listening to some really soft music, anything that just allows everything internally just to slow down a little bit. I often think that intuition does need just some space in order for you to hear it, basically. So cultivating some mindfulness practice is really, really helpful. And there's lots and lots of information out there in terms of how you can go about setting that up for yourself. But for me, mindfulness is nothing more than just quietening your kind of inner world for a moment and just seeing what comes up and what messages or images or anything you get as a result of that. So the next thing is to pay attention to those gut feelings. So your intuition very oftentimes will act quicker than your conscious brain. So that intuitive nudge, that gut instinct, that gut feeling about something generally is coming from your inner wisdom, is coming from that subconscious knowing. And so that is a nice thing to be able to cultivate trusting and listening to. Alongside this, it's acknowledging that your body is very much part of this process. So becoming aware of different sensations in your body. I know people who have developed this so succinctly that, they can literally walk into a room and their body will tell them what the energy is like. They'll feel the hair stand up on the backs of their arms or the backs of their neck. They will, instantly almost have like it's like their stomach goes on to like high alert. Their body will tell them before their conscious brain, basically. So alongside your gut feeling, which generally we really do feel it in our gut, right? This is something we physically feel. Pay attention to other physical sensations in the body, because they can be a really, really good sign of something, your body perceiving something and your subconscious receiving something before your conscious brain has had a chance to process. I'm going to caveat this with for people who have gone through trauma or they have grown up in trauma situations, they are likely to be naturally hypervigilant to their surroundings. So they are likely to pick up on so much more than people who haven't gone through any of these trauma responses. And so, we want to develop the relationship with our body in a way that we get to know what's going on with it and what it's trying to tell us in that moment. Okay. I really, really encourage you to, by all means, reach out to me or reach out to a therapist if you'd really like to work on navigating that particular part of it, because that's really, really helpful to do with a professional. So that's the kind of paying attention to the gut feelings and the body sensations. Another way to really tap into your intuition is by journaling your thoughts and feelings. So journaling can be a great way of tapping into a different part of the brain. So it's a really good way of being able to access some of our subconscious thoughts and messages. So it's a good route into our inner wisdom. And it can be a really good way of learning more about our thoughts and feelings on a daily basis, and whether there is any messages in any of those that we've missed as we've gone throughout the day because we're busy in our day and we haven't had chance to stop and reflect. So getting into some kind of regular journaling habit can be really a good way. And there's I'm almost tempted to go, this doesn't need to be anything particularly formal, because what I've found for myself and for clients is that sometimes their most profound answers or wisdom will come from just free flow writing, where there's no set pressure to write in a particular way. It's just, they just put pen to a piece of paper and just let themselves write and see what happens. So I think, again, bring that kind of playful curiosity energy to that particular way of tapping into your intuition. Another one which I personally relate to a lot is by connecting with nature. So by literally being outside and being away from your normal household environment or away from work, being out of any of the roles that you're in when you're at home, can be a really, really good way of just clearing out the noise. So again, this kind of links to the mindfulness piece. By being outside in nature and being able to just allow yourself to be in whichever environment really resonates for you. Some people are more drawn to water, for others it's more like meadows and big open spaces, for others it's trees and forests, or it could be a park nearby. Like, whatever the place is that resonates for you, take yourself there and just allow yourself to be in that space, and you'll be amazed at just the messages or the images that come to mind as a result of that. I know for me this happens a lot, that if I feel like I've got really stuck in my head about something and I'm really struggling to see an answer, I'm starting to get very frustrated, I will go and take myself off for a walk, and that is enough. I mean, it's well known, isn't it, that clears your head, but that is a really, really good way for me to just go clear my head. I can feel the expansion, like the weight is lifted, the fog is lifted just from being outside, and I will 9 times out of 10 get the answers that I need as a result of that. So that's a really powerful one. Another one is doing something creative. So again, something creative utilizes a different part of the brain. It also allows a very logical brain to quieten down a little bit, which allows more of our subconscious to come through. It allows our inner wisdom to come through. So I believed for many, many, many years, all throughout my school life, that I was not creative. I wasn't someone who was good at art or drama. And so I really carried the belief of I am not creative. That was until I went into my counselling training, and I had one of the most amazing tutors who was incredibly creative and got us to do lots of different creative tasks. And how that opened things up was just amazing. It's actually one of my favourite ways to work with clients now, and to also tap into my own inner wisdom. And so we're not caught up on like producing a result or producing something at the end of this creativity. That's not the point of it. It's all to do with the creative process. So I have a whole host of things. Generally stuff that you like doing as a kid is a good place to start. So for me, I've got Play-Doh, crayons, paints, stones and shells that I used to love collecting, painting those. Like drumming, I've got different items that I can use to drum now. So just allow yourself to try something different, to just play, to just have fun. It doesn't need to have a specific purpose at all. It's just what is it that you love to do as a kid, or what would you love to try now, and just allow yourself to play and enjoy it. And that in itself is enough to really tune in and develop your intuition and your inner wisdom. Also, another way to tap into your intuition is to pay attention to synchronicities in your life. So if you've ever had that experience where certain things like just all come together at the right time, or maybe you, for some unexplained, unknown reason, you were delayed, or you were just a few minutes late leaving your home, only to discover that actually, you might have been part of an accident, or part of got caught up in a breakdown or something that happened, so you've missed all of that traffic. Like, if you've ever had that experience of thinking, wow, like it feels like the universe has, really, really kind of come together for me in that, then really begin to pay attention to those times in your life. And like I spoke about in the last podcast episode about this soldier part of the brain, the reticular activating cortex, it will be working in the background to find more evidence of those synchronicities in your life, and it becomes a really nice way to build trust in the universe, in this bigger universal energy, but also in your own intuition, in your own gut instinct. So just allow yourself to pay more attention. Alongside that, paying attention to and listening to your dreams. So again, I've known that this is something that people have been actively able to work on and build in their life. They've gone from believing that they don't dream, or that they can't remember any of their dreams, to being able to really utilize dreams as a powerful tool in their life, whether it's helping them figure out a situation, or providing them with some guidance about something that they want some more information on, or they're stuck, or just being able to process some things. So your dreams can be a really amazing way to access your inner world, and you don't just have to be like a passive receiver of your dreams, you get to be an active participant in them. So what you can build this slowly, but just spend literally 2 minutes before you go to sleep asking your subconscious a specific question that you want it to give you more information on while you're asleep, or if you'd like to dream anything specific, or have some guidance about something. Be specific and just allow yourself to go to sleep with that question or with that idea, and then just see what happens, and set the intention that you want to dream and you want to be able to remember it when you wake up. And then when you wake up, make sure you've just got like a pen and a notepad next to you, so that you can write write that down straight away, because the likelihood is once you start going about your day, you're likely to forget. So allow that to become a really powerful part of your life. And actually, when you start tuning into your subconscious and your inner wisdom and your intuition more, you tend to find that you do automatically begin to take more notice of your dreams. And sometimes they're going to make sense to you, sometimes they're not, but it becomes another like information tool that you get to use. And I'm a big one of this next one. I've done a whole podcast episode around self-love and self-compassion, but making sure that you're practicing self-compassion with all of these things. So we're not putting pressure on ourselves, we're not criticizing and judging and shaming ourselves as to, whether we try something and it doesn't seem to work, or it's not giving us the answers that we want, or, we're not bringing any of that energy to this. I really, really want you to cultivate that self-love, that self-compassion, that acceptance, and be willing to try and be curious and play and be open to some things working really, really well for you, and other things like it's just not your thing. Okay, so that's totally okay. Like, you only need one of these to be in your tool bag, right? So really see out of that list what it is that you feel most drawn to trying, and just do it. Just tomorrow, set the intention this evening with what you want your initial activity to be that allows you to deepen the connection with yourself and your intuition, and go do that tomorrow. So there is my invitation to you for today's episode. Let me know how you get on. Let me know what intuition is for you. I love hearing people's intuition stories and how they experience their intuition, and what it is that they do when they feel most connected to themselves and their inner wisdom. So do let me know, and I am really looking forward to being back with you very soon with the next episode. Bye for now.